Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, saha viryam haravavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Together we'll chant Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verses 21 to 30.
कार्यकारणकर्तृत्वे हेतुः प्रकृतिरुच्यते पुरुषः सुखदुःखानां भोक्तृत्वे हेतुरुच्यते पुरुषः प्रकृतिस्थो हि भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गोऽस्य सदसद्यो निजन्मसु उपद्रष्टानुमन्ता च भर्ता भोक्ता महेश्वरः परमात्मेति चाप्युक्तः देहेऽस्मिन् पुरुषः परः य एवं वेत्ति पुरुषम् प्रकृतिं च गुणैः सह सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि न स भूयोऽभिजायते ध्यानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति केचिदात्मानमात्मना अन्ये साङ्ख्येन योगेन कर्मयोगेन चापरे अन्ये त्वेवमजानन्तः श्रुत्वान्येभ्य उपासते तेऽपि चातितरन्त्येव मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणाः यावत् सञ्जायते किञ्चित् सत्त्वं स्थावरजङ्गमम् क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञसंयोगात् तद्विद्धि भरतर्षभ समं सर्वेषु भूतेषु तिष्ठन्तं परमेश्वरम् विनश्यत्स्व विनश्यन्तं यः पश्यति स पश्यति समं पश्यन् हि सर्वत्र समवस्थितमीश्वरम् न हि नस्त्यात्मनात्मानं ततो याति परां गतिम् प्रकृत्यैव च कर्माणि क्रियमाणानि सर्वशः यः पश्यति तथात्मानम् अकर्तारं स पश्यति
Any questions on what we have covered?
Hari Om Janki ji.
Hari Om.
Good morning. I have one question. You see, this is slightly, I thought about this a lot. I was not able to come to an answer. See, if you start analyzing karma, action, I will not use the word karma. If we start, it's endless. And it's very difficult to come to a conclusion that this caused this. And I don't think there is research or there's a theory to do that. So in that case, we have something which is called as God's will, right? Everything in our life happens because of previous action, but it can't be said for sure and somewhere God's will comes in picture. And do we refute it or do we go with it? I'm just saying this because the Alok ji, he told that a lot of people have deep belief on God, okay, that he will get everything right. And maybe Jnana yogis may not agree with that. He told that that is wrong. They have a deeper belief, so that is good. So I just want you to give me a little bit of clarity on this.
Sorry, I didn't get what Alok ji said.
He told that a lot of people have deep belief in God,
Okay.
uh, and sometimes that he will get everything right, so on
Okay.
and so forth.
So what's his point? To believe in
No,
God's
I'm
will?
saying Jnana yogis like us, they say no, it's not possible. We believe that our action causes success. So just a belief in God that he will get everything right. So
So Alok ji said we should have a belief in God.
no, he didn't say anything of that sort. He said those people who have that is good. We should not make fun of them or ridicule
Achha,
them in that
okay.
part.
All right. So your question is that should we have a belief in the will of God or not? That's the
Yes,
question.
yes,
Given that we seem to say that everything that happens because of our own actions.
yes. I think you put it
Yeah.
perfectly.
Okay. So yes, we should have a belief in the will of God, but our beliefs should not be blind beliefs. We must understand what that belief means. Otherwise, we can be, the words can take us on a wrong track. So let's go back to our old formula. Matter, okay, right, spirit plus
Plus
matter
matter.
is equal to individual. Like everybody knows this. We've done it to death. Now, every time you have performed an action, means every time the matter has done something, what has always been there?
Spirit.
Has always been there.
Yes.
So, how can we deny the role of the spirit? It is always there. Now, as far as your contention that we cannot understand karma completely, that contention is not correct because we have a whole bunch of laws. We're going to do 2 of the laws this afternoon also. We have a whole bunch of laws on karma. Don't we know that? Selfishness causes agitations. We have a whole bunch of laws, right? Nature, world means change. We have a whole bunch of laws. To say that we do not understand karma, that's pushing it. Because of course we understand. 90% of it we understand. 10% of it we don't understand. And it appears like we don't understand because the laws work together. This is the problem in this world. Like suppose we all know the law. An object is attracted to the center of Earth at 32 feet per second square. Everybody knows. And yet you see a feather flying up. Yet you see the airplane going up. You say, no, we don't understand. It's not that we don't understand. Multiple laws, when they play together, you have to know those laws much better to understand their relationship with one another. Like an aeronautical engineer understands the law of gravity and understands what other laws will deal with it so that his plane flies. Correct? So, but that kind of study is a very deep study of that particular one aspect of life. So it's not true to say that we do not understand the laws of karma. Of course, we understand the laws of karma. But to understand how each one is playing in my life, my study will have to be a lot deeper in terms of that, whatever that law is. Now, since my study is not so much, I understand that there are things that I do not understand. This unknown aspect of our life is given the name of God. Because anyway, it cannot work without the spirit. So we put it in his name. For instance, you have an idea. Let us start world's first Vedanta university. So what's your strategy? No strategy. How are you going to achieve it? Don't know. And what are you relying on? God's will. Right? In the sense, what does that mean? That means you will work hard on it and you know the laws. That if you do something, in a noble way, you will be supported. You know the law. Now, how is this law going to operate? Nobody knows. Right? If you ask when we had 11,000 rupees and we were going and hunting for land worth crores, somebody says, "How do you intend to buy the land? You don't have even. I mean, you have 11,000 in your bank account. How are you going to buy the land?"
God's will.
God's will. We don't know how it will happen. So, because the Spirit is there in all things, all unknown we attribute to Him. So, should we believe in God's will? Of course. How can you not? How can you claim knowledge in everything? But you do have knowledge in some things, and therefore, those aspects you should do properly. Knowing fully well that there are jokers in the pack.
So there are conflicting laws.
They're not conflicting laws. Laws operate together.
Okay,
When a plane flies, you don't say they're conflicting laws. When these laws operate together, this is what happens. Like, for instance, simple law we learned in school. Water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. Like, every idiot in this country knows this. Okay, now you add salt to the water. What will happen?
Okay.
When you add salt, water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. If you add
I've
salt
not,
to the water, what
I've
will
not
happen?
experimented this.
The boiling point will go up.
Point increases.
Okay. So now it's not a contradictory law. When there are impurities in the water, the boiling point will rise. Suppose you take the water to the top of Himalayas. Now again the law will change because air pressure will change and therefore the boiling point will change. So it's not that the laws are contradictory. The laws, when they operate together, give a different result. So you have to know. Suppose you're a third standard child in India, maybe fifth standard. You will learn that water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. It freezes at 0 degrees centigrade. You learn all this and you think, oh, I know everything. No. What happens if there's an impurity in the water? What happens if it's not at sea level? All this you still haven't studied. So therefore, always leave a margin for error. In a practical sense, what does it mean? That 31st July is the last date for filing taxes. Therefore, you will file your taxes on
1 month ago.
Yes. You will attempt to do it at least by 31st May. Attempt. Because things will happen. Somebody may fall ill, some emergency may come up, anything can happen, right? So you're well in advanced. And that's how you always stay calm at work. Because on a daily basis, you're cleared. There's no backlog.
As just a small follow-up question. I think you had a student. I think she had a son who was ill, but still she focused on Vedanta. So yes, she was working on a free will. At the same time, she was Vedanta. You can say it's spirit, right? It's beyond the world, the samsaric world. So is that it's very good, right? What that person did, despite having a tough this thing, it was God's will. Maybe. Yes, we do not know previous life what we have. I do not know to analyze that. Maybe that aspect was God's will, but she focused on the spirit, so that she gains some peace and moves on to the higher. So is that a good strategy? Just
yes, but I don't know what you mean by focus on the spirit. It is she was dedicated to the cause of Vedanta. So though she had a tremendous responsibility on her shoulders of this child who had endless troubles and eventually passed away at the age of 14, she couldn't grow the child. Even as a 10-year-old, she was still a babe in arms. She had no power in her limbs. But a delightful child because she's always smiling, always happy. Everybody loved to play with her, but full of all sorts of problems. So basically, because the girl was so dedicated to Vedanta, what all happened? She managed to maintain her sanity through this whole process. She managed, therefore, to be a better mother to that child. The child was always happy, right? Better mother to that child. She got many more people attached to the child and the child to many more people because She had to take her child wherever she went. And when the child finally passed away, she could take it in some kind of equitable manner. So in every step of the way, her dedication to the higher master helped.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Very useful. Thank you.
Janki ji? Janki ji, in last class we discussed value addition. You said value addition. So what is the difference between value addition and opinion?
Value addition and opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see any connection. So why?
But what is difference between these two? Value
But what?
addition?
Value addition in what? Value addition is like VAT. Like I have a cloth. That cloth, I buy a cloth, I make it a shirt. I did a value addition to it. So what is the difference between that and opinion? I don't understand the question. In what context are you talking about?
Exactly, don't remember, but in last class you said value addition.
Just you
So
can't take
I
two words like that
ask
and
you-
start a.
Huh?
You can't take two words out of context like that and start something. You have to have context.
Okay, I will come back. I will come back again.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So last time we started. Anything else? Anyone else? Last time we started. Dhyane natmani pashyanti kechit atmana atmana. Atmana means by the self. Some people kechit, some people. Dhyanena, by dhyana, atmani pashyanti. In the self, they see. Some people reach by meditation. Some people, atmanam, atmana. Atmanam means atman. Atmana, by the self. It's the Tritiya Vibhakti. How many people here do not know anything at all about Sanskrit? Like if I say Tritiya Vibhakti, you don't know what I'm talking about. How many people in the class are like that?
I know very little, but most of the common things, because I've been doing the class, I do know.
Yeah, but like I say something like a Tritiya Vibhakti, which is like something you would learn in the first few classes of.
But I don't think that I immediately connect with it.
Okay, so I'm seeing most people are not raising their hands. So everybody is clear about this? Okay, only 4 or 5 people have raised their hands. What about the rest of you? You all know? Okay, chalo, let's try the other way around. How many of you know basic Sanskrit? Can you raise your hand that you know basic Sanskrit? Yeah. Basic Sanskrit, very few know. Don't know very few. I don't understand the mathematics of this. Are you all asleep? I don't know what you all are doing. Can you all put the video at least so I know you're there? Okay, so if you know so little of Sanskrit that you don't even know what it means when one says Tritiya Vibhakti or something like that, means second Vibhakti, second declension, if you don't know it in Sanskrit then in English, then please make some attempt to learn it. It is India, we are very, very casual about this thing. In the Western world, you will not be allowed to study a text unless you're also studying the language in which that text is written. Go to any American university, I mean any good one, and I think we are going a good university, right? We are not a university, but we maintain certain standards of education here. So some basics have to be known. As I did a course on Coursera. You know Coursera, the MOOC. I did a Coursera course on Greek and Roman mythology, and he read the text to us in Greek because he assumed that we would want to know the language it is written in. How are you all serious students of Vedanta and know nothing about Sanskrit? Can't be. Something you have to know. We have Sanskrit classes. Please go and attend them. If you don't want to attend these, go attend any you want. There is no preferences between Sanskrit classes. Learn any. During the retreat, we will do some spoken Sanskrit so that at least some amount of Sanskrit knowledge will come. So please put it on your list of things to be done. Some amount of Sanskrit should be known. So, dhyane natmani pashyanti. Atmani, by, in the self. Dhyanena pashyanti. By dhyana. Dhyanena is the third declension, which indicates the by or with. So, by meditation, some see it in the some see the self, some see the self how? By Sankhya Yoga. How do others see the self? By Karma Yoga. So what is he talking about? He's talking about the different processes by which you uncover the self within oneself. And then he has the fourth one, which is Anye. Evam ajanantah. Janantah, those who know. Ajanantah, they don't know. So those who don't know, what do they do? Upasate. Shrutva. Shrutva means having heard. The Twanta form means this action has happened. It refers to a kind of past. I mean, it's not a past. It has already happened. This action has already happened. What have they done? Shrutva, having heard. Upasate, worship. So they don't understand any of this logical, systematic process, but having heard it, they also atirtaranti. They also prosper. So either you go about it the logical, systematic manner, or you go about it the purely bhakti manner. Suppose you are an emotional person, in the sense you don't have much of an intellect to begin with. Then simply by faith and belief in the words of the teacher, such people reach the other side. However, you must appreciate that these people, to do that, have to already be highly developed, because it works something like this. If you're a very innocent person, you're a child, then you will naturally trust people. You don't have the wherewithal to distrust. You need some intellect to start distrusting. So when you're very pure, when you're very young, and of course pure, you are unexposed to the world, you trust anybody and anything. That's why, what do most parents do? They train their children and they say, you can't go with anybody else. Even if they tell you mommy has called you or daddy has sent this card, don't do that. Ask this question. They keep mechanisms by which they ensure that the child doesn't believe anybody and anything. I remember when I was a young child, my mother was totally fed up with me because I could believe anybody's anything. So I used to wear these gold earrings to school. And one person told me that if you give me your gold earrings, I will give you my gold ring. And I looked at the ring and it was a pretty ring, except it was a free ring that you get in cornflakes and cereals, sometimes they give. So I exchanged my pure gold earrings for that free ring that you get in cereal. This is how a child behaves. So what will my mother have to do? She will have to train me and say, look, you can't just believe everything anyone says. You please be careful. You cannot. If you want to give something to somebody, you have to come home and ask me first. Right? So when you're young, Mahesh, your attention is Mahesh, your attention is diverted and you're diverting the rest of the class. The idea was not that you switch your video off. The idea was you bring your attention back here. At least senior students have to be able to keep 1 hour without having to refer to other things and other people. Please, everybody put your video on and don't put it off because something else is happening. That makes no sense. You have to be present in the class. Your video doesn't have to be, I don't need to see your name. I'm not keeping a count. Oh, how many? 35 people in class. Pat on the back. 35 people in class. There's no such thing happening over here. Okay? So, and if you claim I'm not dressed or something, please get dressed and come to class. I can't put it on because I was in my nightie. Okay, don't be in your nightie then at the class time. All right, so where were we? A child is innocent and trusts and believes everybody. Such a person has to be trained not to believe. Correct? So if you are a highly emotional person, okay, suppose you are that type of person, you will have to be given an intellect and distrust planted in your head. Distrust means caution planted in your head. But when you become a very purified individual, all that distrust just evaporates. You know why it evaporates? People keep recommending that we trust. That's a very dangerous thing to do. Because to be able to have that kind of trust, you have to have that kind of discrimination. A noble person, because of his or her own nobility, can relate immediately with others of that level of nobility or higher. I mean, they have the basic discrimination to know this. So even you will have noticed that you go to certain places and you say, ye kuch jamta nahi hai. You don't know, you may not be very clear. Why not? Someone says, but why not? You may not be able to define that. But you know that something's not right and I'm not going down that street. Now, when we have purified our personality so much that we are able to spot the right teacher because of our own purity and thereby have 100% trust in that person, then just by listening to that noble soul, we can cross over. But you must understand this in the right context. If you just take it very literally, what he's saying, just listen and you'll cross over, you have to understand who he's talking about. He's talking about somebody who's already fairly highly developed, at least developed enough to have the basic discrimination of who is a pure person and who is not a pure person. That much you need to have. And if you are like that and you have mere belief, you cross over. You also cross over means you can also realize the self. So there are 4 conditions under which you can realize the self. Either you are in the state of dhyana, meditation, or you are doing jnana, which we are hopefully doing now. At least I know about the people whose videos are on. I do not know about the people whose videos are off. I don't know why your videos are off. And secondly, those who are doing karma, which is the people who are involved in all the volunteer work, which you are all doing. And then the pure-hearted, emotional people who will also reach the same position. Yes, Mahesh.
Yeah, so the others, like the ones who are doing jnana yoga and karma yoga, does that mean that they do not have to do meditation, or?
It will come later, you know that. The 3 yogas lead to Parati, Dharana, and Dhyana.
No, I mean, the way I read this verse, it says that these different ways are there of reaching the self, and they seem to be or conditions. So I just thought.
No, it talks of predominance. It's not or, it's predominance. Everybody has to eventually do everything. As a Jnana Yogi not got to have some belief in the teacher? Has the Karma Yogi not got to have some understanding of Sankhya? Everybody has to do everything.
Okay. So you had once said in our private discussions that Karma Yoga has to follow either Bhakti or Jnana as you advance on the path. So you cannot go from Karma Yoga to meditation, or is that possible? Solely on Karma Yoga with, of course, predominantly Karma Yoga, I meant. So can you go from predominantly Karma Yoga to Uparati, Dharana, Dhyana?
So this is not what I said. This is what Vedanta treatise says. However, in Vedanta treatise and in Bhagavad Gita, the word Karma Yoga is used slightly differently. So Karma Yoga here is in the sense of how he's used in chapter 3. There are two types of people in this world, the Sankhyans and the Yogis. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Right. So in the way it is used in the Vedanta treatise, the division is made slightly differently, that the 4 yogas are given as 4 combinations of the mind and intellect. If the intellect is predominant, Jnana Yoga. If the mind is predominant, Bhakti Yoga. If neither is predominant, Karma Yoga. And if both are deficient, then Hatha Yoga. Okay, so that's how it's given. So in that definition, where Karma Yoga is the output when the mind and intellect are equal, eventually by doing karma, one of the two will rise and then you will take to karma, jnana or bhakti. In that context. In this context, karma leads to Sankhya. And Sankhya leads to Dhyana.
But karma can't lead to bhakti in this context?
No, because he's put a different chain here, a different usage of that language. He constantly does that because he doesn't want you to fall in love with the words. You have to understand the spirit behind things. And the easiest thing is to fall in love with the words. So he constantly changes it. So he's put one set like this, karma, Sankhya, Dhyana, that's one set. And then he said, almost as an exception, he's taken out bhakti. And he said that, but that way also you will reach.
I see. Okay. Because there were many bhakti saints who were brilliant, have brilliant intellects. So in that sense, they were not simply people who had heard from others. They themselves have written treatises and commentaries. So yeah, but that's fine. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's not talking about that category.
They're not talking about that class. Yeah.
See, bhakti means it was predominantly intellectual, predominantly mind. That's what it means. Here he's talking about those who are predominantly mind but did not have intellect. Otherwise, the saints you're talking about, who they claim to be in the Bhakti Marga, all the great sages of Maharashtra, their mind was very highly developed, but so was their intellect. It just so happened that some of them had even more mind developed. So don't take exceptional cases to understand basic philosophy. It's just confusing. When the laws work together, you need a lot more studies to see how it's all mixing and matching. So don't go there. Just learn basic laws for now.
No, I'm referring to all the other schools of Vedanta are Bhakti schools, except for Advaita. All of them are Bhakti schools. So I'm not referring to the Varkari tradition, but all the other Vedantas to take Krishna as supreme and are Bhakti based. So even in that sense, they are, sort of.
Yes, just because your intellect is high doesn't mean your mind is not even higher. You're assuming that the intellect is here and mind is here. You're not taking a condition where the intellect is here and mind is here.
No, I only meant it that it says here, having heard from others. They haven't heard from others. They have started schools of their own. That's why I was a little. This seemed like Sri Ramakrishna's life, where he heard from others and he was not able to read or write, but he simply heard from others and sort of grew to be master over everyone. Then, but what I meant is that they don't. All the other schools of Vedanta don't fall in this category of having heard from others. That's the only point I was trying to.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bharat.
Yeah, so the pure-hearted seem to have a highly awakened subtle intellect. Is that right?
Right.
So they seem to instinctively know the right and wrong in the world also. So how?
Right and wrong. I don't know how exactly you mean by right and wrong.
That's the function
they
of the
have
gross
an-
intellect, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That they may not know like which FD gives them maximum returns or which share to back or something like that, because that is specific knowledge which they're not interested in learning, and they're not going to have the wherewithal to figure all this stuff. They're not going to read balance sheets and all. They couldn't be bothered. So, but basic discrimination in a pure person is always higher. Basic discrimination means, okay, let's say that he has to invest in shares. Okay, he immediately will understand this is beyond my comprehension. He will also understand whose comprehension is it within and the intention of that person. This much he'll be able to.
So they know the right and wrong sort of people, right?
Yes,
Uh,
yes. I mean, it's not like you
good.
can't fool them, but they have an instinctive understanding of such things. Yes.
Okay, because the example coming to mind is of Yudhishthir. I mean, very pure person, but suffered like crazy. So,
But not out of belief in anyone. He was able to identify that Krishna was his best friend. That much he's able to identify. He did.
but he got fooled by the Kauravas, right?
No, he didn't get fooled by the Kauravas. He had a weakness of his own. Nobody was fooling him. It's not like he didn't know, he knew it, but he was stupid enough to do it because of his weakness. That's the story.
Sorry, which was gambling.
Which
Okay.
one are you talking about?
No, the kingdom got taken away from them, the stuff like that.
No, so he's well aware what is going on. It's not like he doesn't know. Everybody knows. He knows and everybody else knows also. Discrimination hasn't failed in terms of who is the right person to be with and who is not. All that. He is not suffering from that. But he has a weakness of his own. So therefore, he bears the consequence.
Okay. Thank you.
Somebody else had also raised. 1 second, Aditi. Somebody else had also raised. Have you removed your hand? Okay, I can't see any other. Yeah, Aditi, go ahead.
Hari Om Janki ji. It has always confused me that, of course, meditation is the highest where it's a single pointed thought. But there is a gray area into things like when you just close your eyes for a short period of time, between 10 to 20 minutes, close your eyes and just focus on your breathing and really feel the clarity and feel that actual, you're getting very, everything becomes very peaceful and calm for you guys. So how do you relate that to meditation? Can that be done, or it's still on the higher, like that also should not be?
No. Firstly, I don't know what you mean by feel the clarity. It sounds like a combination of terms.
Not feel the clarity, but just the fact that you're feeling calm.
I'm not asking for an explanation. I'm just drawing your attention to there's no such thing as feeling clarity. Clarity means that is the clearness of your own thoughts.
Wrong usage of words.
There is no thought. So yeah, what you're describing sounds more like a relaxation than like a meditation. Meditation is hard work. It's the hardest work a human being can do. because you're putting tremendous effort in focusing on something. But what you're talking about sounds like relaxation. The world is too much noise, too much garbage. So I go to a quiet place, sit quietly for some time, allow everything to cool down. This is more relaxation, more allowing things to settle down rather than any form of meditation. Meditation is always effort. That you're struggling to get to get something. Different from going to a quiet place and sitting quietly because all these people are bothering me too much.
Yeah,
So
so
you
basically
should
just
sit
focusing
quietly by
on,
yourself.
basically trying to just focus on your breathing in and out. Again, it's a focus on that particular thing. That's what was the,
That's fine. That's pranayam. Focusing on
yeah.
the breathing.
Okay. Yeah, just that was feeling a bit confused about what exactly we are talking when we're talking about meditation. Thank you.
Effort, always effort.
Yes, thank you.
Prashant Nair.
Madam, the output of Karma Yoga is purity of mind, right now. When we do a Karma Yoga, it leads to purity of mind. Does your intellect also get sharpened
Yes,
with Karma Yoga?
absolutely. Both.
That means you
Mind
get clarity.
Yes. Because you see, the easiest way of getting clarity is by doing something. Okay, so what are you always trying to do is figuring out how things are working, right? That's what we are all trying to do at all times, some well, some badly. But when you actually do something, you will know whether your theory about that is correct or false. If you are dedicated to the higher. Otherwise, you're just falling in love, like all the time. I mean, I don't know what to say. People who are very good at what they do, accomplished at what they do, but like their success levels are so low, it's not funny. I mean, like, it's surprising that if this person, and I agree with that this person is accomplished, then why is it that the success level is so low? And you will, when you hear them talk, you will understand why it is so. And it is one of the, what should I say, worst moments of life, because even though you may know why it is so, there's no way you're ever going to tell them. And the reason it is so is because they are so completely, what should I say, established in their likes and dislikes. Like, I'll tell you this morning, the example I heard. Somebody was talking on the phone, and my husband had kept it on speakerphone, so I was hearing the conversation. I mean, I was walking up and down. So the person said to him that he told somebody, this is the shortest route, to go from point X to point Y. That person said, don't want to give too much. That person said to him, oh, I can't go by that route. It's a horrible route. Like, it's the shortest, quickest, best route. You won't take it. What? I don't like that route. Okay, then he was like a little, he can't understand this. So he said, so are you going to take that other one, which is a much longer route? And I don't know, I was walking, so I don't know the rest of the conversation. I heard this very aggressive statement, I will not take that route. And I heard the confusion in his voice, like, what are you saying? It doesn't make sense. I mean, just his tone. And I realized this person is never going to know why, though being such an accomplished musician, they're never going to do well in life. They're never going to do well. Because it's all ruled by, do I like it or do I not like it? It is never ruled by, does it achieve the goal or not? And those people who do not train themselves to work with, does it achieve the goal or not, will never achieve anything. So it's impossible to convey these things to the people who need it the most. Then they say, oh, but I'm happy with what I am. No, you're not. You claim happiness only because you don't want to give up your ego and your likes and dislikes. You're not at all satisfied, and everybody besides you can see it. So when you do karma, the great advantage is, at some stage, you care about that goal more than you care about your likes and dislikes. And that forces you to do something. And then you see the result and then you say, I get it. So that's how karma is the best way of gaining clarity. Well, then do it and see. And then, but you will not do it because you hate it. You don't want to do it. I don't like this road. I don't like this. I don't like that person. I don't like this job. But if you care about the cause, you just say to hell with what I like and don't like and doing it. At some stage, you say it. When the dedication to the cause is more than the dedication to the likes and dislikes, and then suddenly your world changes. So you become calm because your work is so much better done. And you become clear because you're able to see what brings what result rather than think about I like it and I don't like it. How petty, how foolish to think this thought, whether I like it or I don't like it. So, yes, in answer to your question, karma gives you purity and clarity. Sometimes even with working with people, I'm not going to work with you. I don't like you. I don't like the way you function. When you're doing karma, you can't do that because others also volunteers. You have to work with whoever you've got. So either you work together and achieve the goal, or you say, I don't care about the goal.
Then, if you have two choices, then the intellect will choose the one which you like more.
When the goal doesn't matter to you so much. If the goal matters, if what your mind likes the most is the goal, it will sacrifice its petty or likes and dislikes. But if it likes its petty likes, that's why you see when people come to work in volunteer organizations, they'll begin in the beginning, they'll say, I will only do this role and I will only do that role. They start like that. So we give them those roles. But as they progress in the organization, you do what needs to be done, not what you like and you don't like. I'll only do this, I'll only do that. The restrictions of the personality are not broken. Yesterday, I was trying to explain to somebody about the value of time management and how you go about it. I don't think I succeeded. It sounds to people I'm giving a lecture, but they don't recognize that it's our life that gets better if we do these things properly. I'm the world's biggest failure, and yet somehow I'm continuing. Cannot communicate anything. Somebody keeps today also somebody told me, you are this and you that. And I said the only thing I have learned in teaching in this 35 years, which is Vedanta is self-service. Either you take it and use it, or don't take it and don't use it. Nobody can do anything. Okay, Prashant, you got a whole lot more than you had originally bargained for. So, 4 ways: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga is meditation. The first 3 ways are contemporaries, and the 4th way, Dhyana Yoga, is sequential. Of course, now that I'm seeing Arun, I remember when you're doing Dhyana Yoga, you will also be doing the 3 yogas. It's not like you stop the 3 yogas and you do Dhyana Yoga. At some point, at a much later point in the journey, along with Karma, Bhakti, Jnana, Dhyan will also start slowly. Initially, you'll be able to do Dhyan for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. And then you'll say, okay, that's it. Later on, as it progresses, then your eyes will be closed and you'll open it and you'll say, oh, 10 minutes have passed. I didn't realize. Okay, slowly it will increase. But do not try this stunt until you can guarantee yourself that you have purified your intentions, that your love is universal, and that your discrimination is fairly sharpened. So don't try this stunt until that time comes.
Ma'am, just a question. I think you explained this very nicely. So this Bhakti Yoga, I'm just speaking about belief and not universal, this thing that God willing we spoke. So when should that come? Should that come simultaneously, or we should first do Karma Yoga and then that should be, because generally when things don't go well, then we say, right, God's will, God will take care. But that's just a failure of your competence. So should we start with God willing or middle and just mind?
Always. God willing is always there.
Okay,
we
because
love
of
the
spirit plus matter.
Yes,
Okay.
that is always there, yes.
So it is there, it's just that you can't recognize
Yeah, always there. God is always there. We may not be there. God is there.
it. Thank you, ma'am.
Just a question here. God is always there. God here, we are referring to Brahman, or are we referring to something else?
Yes, Brahman.
Okay. Thank you.
Verse 27. Yavat sanjayate kinchit satvam stavara jangamam kshetra kshetrajna sanyoga tatvedhi bharatarshapha yavat sanjayate kinchit satvam stavara jangamam kshetra kshetrajna sanyogat tatvedhi bharatarshapha yavat sanjayate kinchit. Kinchit means whatever, any. So whatever sanjayate means born, yavat, whatever is born, that's satvam, that being. Stavara jangamam, meaning the moving and the unmoving. Now, moving and unmoving you can take as any way. You can take moving and unmoving as plants and animals. You can take moving and unmoving as inanimate and animate, whichever one you wish to use. It doesn't matter. The meaning continues to be the same. Whatever you are seeing, basically, whether it is the moving or the unmoving, means the animate or the inanimate, the living or the non-living, inert objects or living beings, whatever you are seeing. Kshetra, kshetrajna, sanyogat. The yoga, joining, sanyog, the union between what? The kshetra and the kshetrajna. Kshetra is the matter. Kshetrajna is the consciousness. So wherever you see whatever, what are you seeing in front of you right now? You are seeing your electronic device on which you are seeing this class. What is the formula for that electronic device that you are seeing?
Spirit plus matter.
Well, you are seeing human beings on the screen in front of you. What is the formula for those human beings that you are seeing?
Spirit plus matter.
Spirit and matter. It doesn't matter what you're seeing. You're hearing a sound. What is the formula for that sound you're hearing?
Spirit plus matter.
There is no sensation available to you No sight, no sound, no taste, no touch, no being, no inanimate thing, nothing available to you, which is not a combination of spirit and matter. Everywhere there is just this combination. Tatvithi, know this. O Bharatarsha, O bull among the Bharata. You are the best among the Bharatas. Why are you best among the Bharatas? Because you are the bull. Bull represents the one capable of maximum sacrifice. So you've come to this class, and a great sacrifice is expected from you. And this great sacrifice that is expected from you is you have to be able to release, give up, let go your body, mind, and intellect. Nobody can do any bigger sacrifice. You give up your body to find the self. So you're Bharatarsha, the greatest among the Bharata. Yes, Mahesh.
Oh yeah, I wasn't sure how inanimate beings also have spirit in them, because, and that's one thing, and whatever is born, so inanimate thing is not born. So how do we say that inanimate is also follows this formula?
Because there is matter, which you can see, and Brahman has to be there. Brahman is all pervading. Every inanimate object also has matter and spirit. And is it born? Of course it is born. And it will die just like us, except the word that you use in English for the is creation. So you can say created, whatever being is born, or you can say created. If you say created, then the problem which will come in English is that, oh, did God create us? Another long story. So there's very little word you can use that somebody or the other will not misunderstand in some way or the other. Born means come into existence. Dead means go out of existence.
Okay, thank you.
Yavat sanjayati, something is there, is created. Anything in the world, there is the Lord there. And there is matter there. And once you get it, you will begin to see that you always have the option of what you are going to focus on. You always have that option. You may say, oh, I cannot focus on the self, and therefore I can't practice this. Okay, you cannot focus on the self, but can you try going to subtler layers of matter itself? Like instead of the body focusing on the mind, instead of the mind focusing on the intellect. So the moment, excuse me, we are able to understand, I have a choice of focus, and then choose what I want to focus on, the quality of my life changes. If I see the matter, the grossest matter, I see heterogeneity, I see all these differences. But the more subtler things I see, the more oneness I can see, the more union I can see. Even if I see from the level of my intellect, I begin to see it's all the same causal relationships taking place. Somebody has a desire, their desire is interrupted, there will be anger. Nothing to make a fuss about. So that's it. Bharat has an announcement for us.
Yes, Hari Om everyone. So we meet again in a couple of hours. Janki ji has a Zoom talk, Aspiration with Contentment. It'll be with French translation. So if you have any French friends, then please share the message details. And it'll be the same Zoom link that we have now.
So
Thank
maybe
you.
I will see you all at 1:30 India time. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Janki.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Janki ji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janki ji. Hari Om.